Hey everybody, this is Brent in Central Arkansas. It's time for a raised bed garden update. It is the 16th of June. I try to do these about once a month in the middle of the month. And there's a lot going on, a lot of changes from the last time. It's just everything's more or less working out beautifully. I have had some issues, but they've been pretty minor. And yeah, this is the best garden, one of the best in my lifetime. So I wanted to share with what's going on, share with what is growing on with you, and I'll get behind the camera and we'll take a look at some of the stuff. Starting from the front of these two raised beds, first you can see that I need to mow again. But anyway, I've got the jade 2 beans in this left bed. They kind of quit producing. I do have a follow-on video. I don't know if this one will come before that one or not, because this one needs to be timely, representing the middle of the month. I'd hate to do it or publish it in the beginning of July for mid-June, so we'll see. But anyway, if it hasn't come up yet, I've got a second, third, fourth harvest on these and what I'm doing with these 2 beds here on the green beans. But in this particular one, I've cut them back just to see if they'll regrow. More explanation on that in that video. Coming around here, I've got emerald sweet cucumber. I've got 3 vines growing up and they're coming down. It looks like maybe a, I don't know what those call, leaf miners maybe. They've done that tracking damage. But I've got cucumbers that have reached the top of the trellis. They're growing across and they're making babies. I'll put this one down so it can grow downwards as well. But yeah, they're looking good. This is an emerald sweet here. This example is over 12 inches. I'm quite certain. I'll let it get a little bit thicker because even when they're this big, and you know, they're awesome because the seeds, it's a parthenocarpic gynaeceous cucumber, meaning it grows all females, no males, and it'll and it is my breeding, by the way, but it'll have seed in here. The ovules is what they are. They turn into seed if they're fertilized. If they don't get fertilized, they're really small and kind of insignificant in the overall taste. So I get a lot of meat from these things. Has a really sweet taste. I love this cucumber. So I've got 3 vines growing on here, and I've planted some replacements here. I've got another video on replacement planting planned, and so I'll go more in depth on that later. This bed here is Greek sweet reds, and that's what that butternut looks like. It's a fairly large butternut, and I've crossed it with honey nut, and this is the best example I like here. The shape of that, the nice hourglass shape. The smaller necks here and the bigger bottoms here I don't care for that much, but it's potential. So this will be the first cross that I'll use the seed, and this will be a backup. And this one over here is just growing. It was fertilized on its own, so it's just an eater. The ones growing over there, those 2 areas are just eating also. Second bed here is my eggplant, royal purple, and I've got one Louisiana green oval that has pollinated or crossed with my royal purple here. You can see a couple babies even growing on that same eggplant right there. That is a seed eggplant, and it's getting really big, and that's going to be the next generation. But if you look through here, you can see some babies. I just harvested 3 this morning, and this one really needs to be harvested now, but I'll get it in the next couple days. But look at them, it's really beautiful, really colorful and beautiful flowers as well. So I haven't been pollinating them, but I probably should if I want to get a lot of fruit. That's a lot of eggplant, and we just don't eat that much. But anyway, yeah, just next generation eggplants, or eggplant to eat or eggplant to give away. So that's what's going on with the eggplant. Over here I've got a couple zucchinis left. I had removed a couple because they were kind of getting stunted, and 2 of the 3 that I removed were another variety that I didn't care for, so I just went ahead and got rid of them. Now these two squash I'm keeping because that zucchini has been selfed. That's why it's got a white tag on it. So that's next generation seed. And this zucchini over here has been crossed with the other zucchini. And I'm not sure if I'm going to grow that one out or not. The third row back are these two raised beds. I had green beans in here. I've removed them because the harvest went really slowed down basically. And so as a breeder, I got rid of them. I'm ready to plant the next succession of Madison's Cross in these two beds. And on the back side, I've got, these are Tahitian melon. And you can see the Tahitian melon squash are dropping down here, being supported. That's a flower bud. Being supported by these little melon holders. And I've crossed it, a couple of them, probably 3 of them with honey nut. And we're gonna see what they look like. I anticipate they're gonna look something similar to that. Similar to honey nut, but bigger. On this particular one, similarly, I've planted replacements. I think I've got replacements in this one. Yeah, I've got a replacement there and there to grow up additional Tahitian melon squashes. But over here, I've done the same thing. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 4 kabachas that I've got growing as replacements. And these 1, 2, 3, 4 vines right here. This one I've got to remove. It's not doing anything, but the others each have a kabacha on here, and this is what they look like. And they get pretty heavy, so I've got them with a melon harness as well, supporting the weight. And these are for eating, and I hope that's not something boring into. I saw some frass. I don't see anything there. Anyway, I have to keep my eye on that. Anyway, I've never had the Japanese pumpkin before. It's supposed to be a great tasty squash, so we're going to see with that. I've also I've taken the male flowers and I've crossed them with the sweetmeat over there, and I'll show you that one in a minute. It's a little bit different, but in the same species, C. maxima. Moving on, I've got the Terzetta Bella sweet pepper here, and this one is starting to grow some. It's got a little bit taller. You can see some there. They're starting to grow. This one's a little improved even over that one, and my favorite is this one. It's producing larger peppers. These are thick-walled. It's designed to be a bell replacement, and I've got lots of fruit on it. It's a little smaller plant if you look at these compared to this one, and I like that. I want a shorter stature, self-supporting, and bigger fruit is a plus. So the parent of Terzetta Bella is this one. This is Colibri, formerly known as California Brian. It's condensed both of those words to create the word Colibri. Anyway, this is a spicy pepper of about the jalapeno stage, and it turns from this beautiful color here into red. I wish I had some red examples for you, but maybe in the July update. This one here, which is a child of it, is sweet, and it was crossed with the lipstick pepper, so there's no heat in this one. And these are both great peppers in their own right. Now I make pepper flakes with this. I guess you'd call them pepper flakes. It's more like pepper dust. But anyway, I grind them up, and it's fantastic as a paprika or a spice powder. Next to the peppers over there in this bed, which is the 4th row, are the other squash that I'm crossing Madison's Cross to. And these are both seed squash. You can tell because it's got the yellow tag on it here. These two are seed squash, and that one down there is a seed squash. Now I've removed one already, in this, I guess it was here maybe, seed squash. It was really mature, and I'm dehydrating it, and I'm trying to get a quick turnaround to see what the cross of Masson's cross with this yellow squash looks like. It'll be a hybrid. What you're looking at here, replacement watermelon to go out to the lazy garden, and replacement Masson's cross to go in those two beds I just talked about over there. The fifth row here, I've removed the green beans from it. Also, these are going to get Masson's cross or zucchini in them. We'll see how that goes. Now, they had green beans in them, so the roots I left in to supply some extra nitrogen as they break down, because legumes like beans, they affix nitrogen into the root nodules. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but anyway, it had some extra nitrogen. So on this bed here are honey nuts. I've got some replacement honey nuts going here. I've got honey nuts maturing, and that means that once they mature, if they're not producing another one like this is, then I'll cut them out, and all of these growing down here, these little babies, they will replace them and grow up, and I can get another flush of honey nuts. Over here, I did a couple replacement plantings there. It looks like 3 of them took, maybe 4 down there, and these are the sweetmeats. This is a baby, and this is a full size here. This one doesn't have too much longer before it's mature, but that's the size of it, and it has a really neat kind of color here. This is C Maxima, and you'll see here that this little yellow means it's a cross with something else, and I crossed it with the kabocha I talked about a minute ago. This vine here is growing almost all the way across here. It still looks somewhat healthy, and that's good because it needs to mature this baby here. Now, I had a couple others of sweet meat that didn't pan out. They started setting a fruit like this one, and the vine started dying off. Like, I don't think this one's gonna make it. I also crossed it with kabocha, but it's growing slowly, and it seems like it's starting to, that may be softening. We'll see if that matures, but I don't think it will. Still, I've got this one and the seed squash. I'll get to taste this squash, and the seed within it will be the cross, which is what I'm after. And again, I've got 1, 2, 3, and this one hopefully will come on too. 4 replacements there to continue, because I just want to eat the squash itself and see what it tastes like. The 6th row here is the asparagus bed, and these are the size of the ferns now. They're getting pretty nice. Not much to report there. These are 2 Madison squash. I have 3 left in here, and I've got replacements coming for those. But the seed squash, they put a zap on the energy of the plant, and I'll be harvesting that seed squash before too long. I did take another seed squash out of this bed, and I've got, I'm drying out the seed now to see if I can get a turnaround from that squash for a next generation in the same season. So those are the 3 of the 5 I had in here originally. I'm not going to replant any squash in this same bed here, this Masson's cross bed, because if you look here, you can see this has got some orange fruit on here, and their fruit is getting hard. Now, I've harvested off of this nice yellow fruit, similar to this one back here, and earlier, but then it started doing this. So I don't want to take the chance, so I'm not going to plant squash in this bed again. Well, I may plant the zucchini, but that may not be the case. I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, I just want to mention that. I think it was a squash mosaic virus. May not be. Who knows? Over here in the last 7th row are the peppers. These are Corbello, which is a Jimmy Nardella and Courbaki cross here. I've got tons of fruit. My buddy Jim at Midwest Gardener channel on YouTube, he created this cross, and this particular fruit's probably a foot or so long. This is an F4 generation, so these fruits are going to be a little bit different. And I planted 2 of them. But yeah, this is what they look like. I'm looking forward to taste them, because both the peppers on their own are fantastic, and I'll pick the best of these 2 to carry forward another generation. You can go check out Jim's channel, again, Midwest Gardener, and check out some of his. He likes breeding peppers a lot. Over here is another sweet pepper. It's a longer pepper from Sage Seed from the grocery store. We'll see how that goes and just see what it tastes like. Over here is, what is this one? Oh, it's another one of these. And then lastly, I've got a lipstick here in this same bed growing up and over is grapes. I'll do a video on that. Like I said, lipstick here. This is another lipstick right here, which is the other parent of Terzetta Bella. And this one had something wrong with it. It's kind of squishy. But anyway, this is what they look like back here. So I'll wait for a good one to turn red and we'll give that a taste. I've got Calibri here. This is the California Brian. That's the parent of Terzetta Bella. I showed you one in the other bed where Terzetta Bella is. I had a couple extra, so I plopped them in here. So I've got 3 blackberries of Primark Freedom. They've reached the top. I'm going to do a video on that and how I prune those. And so I topped them when they reached the top of the trellis here, and they're going to put out side shoots. And I'll discuss that in more detail in another video. This is a pepper that came in a seed packet that this is not the pepper it's supposed to be. So I have no idea what that pepper is. It's not growing that great. I don't like the plant structure, but we'll see what the fruit tastes like and go from there. Blueberries and my side 2 beds over here. In the back, I've got Dark Bear Dwarf and Rocket Bear Dwarf. They're growing great. I've got a couple of honey nut crosses on either end here that I've talked about before, so I won't get into it too much here. But that stuff's going real good, and I'll do another video on that. In the front bed here, I've got Brandy Bear Next Generation, which is a parthenocarpic variety of mine. And I've got herbs, oregano, what's this? Cilantro, Italian sweet basil, Italian parsley, and rosemary. In between here, I've got a couple cucumbers that I'm going to let them grow up the trellis. I'm going to change the sex because this is a gynaeceous parthenocarpic, and I've showed you the cucumbers at the beginning of this video. And so I'm going to change the sex so it'll grow male flowers, and then I can cross these to those out there, and I'll have the next generation. So that'll be interesting. All right, so this is what it looks like from afar. Everything is doing really good. Kind of get me in the camera here. Hopefully it's not too sun blotched here. So everything is growing real good. If you like the video, please share it. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Love talking to you guys. So in the next video, we'll catch you then. Bye.
How long do we gotta stay here for people we don't know in one lines? All of the clothes are designer, fast cars and who knows who. Yeah, I know what they wanna say. They're gonna ask me if I'm gonna make it. I don't care if I'm gonna have to fake it, long as I can be real.